Part 52. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuchi. Chapter 511. Yongsheng Group, in the President's Office. Looking at the resignation letter signed by Shen Loxi, Ma Ting stood there in a daze, with an unbelievable look in her eyes. Because she couldn't believe and accept that Shen Loxi would give up her annual sales of hundreds of millions and the title of the group's gold medal sales for a private bodyguard and a pretty boy who had an ambiguous relationship with the general manager. Mr. Shen, Ma Baohua, the general manager of Zhulang Group, and Bian Zhengrui, the vice president, called me half a month ago and promised me in person. As long as I am willing to join Zhulang Group, I will immediately be the director of the sales department with an annual salary of 1 million, and I can get a sales commission of 4 points, as well as the qualifications and opportunities to independently operate real estate sales. Thinking of her hard work for more than 2 years, bringing the group a total sales of more than 1 billion, but now being ruthlessly kicked away by the other party, Ma Ting, who was instantly filled with nameless anger, decided to fight hard. Then, she pointed to the resignation letter in her hand and reminded with a hint of threat in her tone. So, Mr. Shen, are you reconsidering now, who will be punished next, me or the man surnamed Zhang? If Ma Ting had chosen to join a real estate company other than the Kowloon Group, Shen Loxi might have felt a little apprehensive. Because a gold medal salesperson like Ma Ting has many high-quality customers and a large number of contacts in real estate speculation groups, which can almost determine nearly 1/3 of the sales of a real estate project. But the target she chose to join was the Kowloon Group, a company that was about to be completely swallowed up by the Yongsheng Group. How could Shen Loxi take her threat seriously? So, she waved her hand without hiding the contempt in her eyes. Go. Go to your new master, and hope that your new master will keep his word and give you what he promised. Humph. Shen Loxi actually dared to ignore her threatening sarcasm, which made Ma Ting feel extremely annoyed and snorted coldly, then turned around and left the president's office and returned to the sales department. Thinking that she would need helpers who would be like her when she went to work in a new company, she immediately turned her attention to the dozen sales elites. If these sales elites could follow her, they could not only help her gain a foothold in the Zhulang Group quickly, but also retaliate against Shen Loxi and cause the Yongsheng Group to suffer huge losses. Thinking of this, Ma Ting immediately began to instigate and deceive the dozen elites she had chosen, and secretly promised many benefits that were impossible to achieve. In the end, 11 of the top 15 sales elites agreed to resign and leave with her. This included the beautiful woman who had a direct conflict with Zhang Fengjai, as well as the second-ranked silver sales and the third-ranked bronze sales. Zhang Fengjai was very happy with Sulixi's recognition and praise for Sulixi's agency for the sales of Heshuo community, and the hugs and heart-to-heart talks between the two sisters that completely resolved the inner barriers. But when Wang Denmei came to inform Ma Ting of her revenge and the collective betrayal of the sales elites, the happy mood was instantly replaced by anger. After getting up and leaving Sulixi's office, Zhang Fengjai was about to go to the sales office when he happened to meet Ma Ting and others who were about to leave the company. When two brave men meet on a narrow road, the braver one wins. Looking at Zhang Fengjai who was walking towards her, Ma Ting took the lead in accusing him. Zhang Fengjai, we were forced to leave because of your selfishness and greed, your arrogance and ignorance, and your arrogance. If Yongsheng Group sales are not good after the spring, you need to bear at least 80% of the responsibility. Facing Ma Ting's accusation of putting the blame on someone else, Zhang Fengjai flashed a disdainful sneer in his eyes, raised his head and glanced at the 11 sales elites who were about to leave behind her, and reminded them in a gentle tone. Resigning impulsively means giving up everything you have worked so hard for, including your job rating and annual salary, the connections you have accumulated over the years, the positions of deputy director and director, the high social security paid by the company, and leaving without any compensation conditions, and then starting all over again. I don't know what tempting conditions Ma Ting promised you, but I think any promise of a blank check is not as real as seeing it with your own eyes. Because among all the real estate companies in Ningji City, Yongsheng Group has the most potential for development, Yongsheng Group's employee treatment is the best, and Yongsheng Group's job competition is the fairest, so your impulsive resignation today is not only irresponsible to yourself and your family, but also ruining your future. After hearing Zhang Fenjai's reminder, 6 young girls showed a hint of hesitation in their eyes. The reason why they chose to resign and follow Ma Ting to leave, in addition to envying and jealous of Xia Qingxuan and others' luck, is mainly because of Ma Ting's promise and temptation. Because Ma Ting promised solemnly that as long as she resigned and joined the Zhulang Group, she would have the qualifications and confidence to independently operate the property. Then, as confidants and foundations, they would also have the opportunity to make a lot of money like Xia Qingxuan and Pan Switing. But as Zhang Fenjai reminded just now, Ma Ting's promise was just a blank check. What if it could not be fulfilled in the end, or the sales of the new property were not good? Then, their loss is not only money and energy, but also a stable future. Zhang Fenjai's bewitching reminder made Ma Ting's face change slightly, and she decided to reveal a little secret she had been hiding in order to stabilize the morale of the troops. Half a month ago, Bian Chengrui, the vice president of Zhulang Group, promised me that as long as I could build my own team, I would not only have the opportunity to independently operate the sales of Shenma Community, but also get a sales commission ratio of 4.3. Hearing the secret revealed by Ma Ting, the 5 companions who had always been loyal to her immediately showed surprise in their eyes. The hesitation in the eyes of the remaining 6 people was instantly replaced by determination. Because the real estate of Shenma Community is located to the south of Ningji City First People's Hospital, the distance between each other is less than 40 meters. At the same time, about 70 meters to the east of the community is the Ningji City Bus Terminal, which can be said to be a high-quality real estate that has no worries about sales. Although the sales commission ratio of Shenma Community is far less than that of Heshuo Community, it is enough for them to obtain nearly 1 million commission income in a short period of time. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 512. Yongsheng Group. As the best property in the hands of Zhulang Group, Shenma Community is also the first target of Shen Loxi. With the help of Zhu Zhenjun's connections, Yongsheng Group's funds, and Zhuang Jian's special status, she has completed the initial acquisition plan. So, after seeing Ma Ting reveal the secret of Shenma Community, the 11 sales elites instantly determined to resign. Standing at the door of the president's office, Shen Loxi planned to use the same method to disintegrate the opponent's attack. But at this moment, she received Zhang Fenjai's stopping eyes. The road is under your feet, the decision is in your hands, and the final stay or leave is only up to you. Zhang Fenjai's eyes swept across the 11 sales elites with a determined look, and his expression gradually became indifferent and warned. But I want to remind you that as long as you choose to leave the company today, you will completely break with the company. Then, not only will the door of Yongsheng Group be closed to you forever, but Torch Group, Dadi Group, and Tiant Group, which are partners of Yongsheng Group, will not accept you. So, before you make the final decision, you'd better think about it seriously. As the saying goes, a good horse never eats the grass it turns back. Facing Zhang Fenjai's warning, Ma Ting immediately hit back hard. The moment we decided to resign and leave, we never thought about coming back. Even if we can't make it in the real estate industry, we would rather change our careers and never come to beg you. Ma Ting, I hope you can still talk to me so hard when we meet next time. Zhang Fenjai sneered and provoked after stepping aside to make way. Don't worry, I will. After Ma Ting hit back hard, she left Yongsheng Group with 11 sales elites. Seeing the departure of the 11 sales elites, Solixiu's sister's eyebrows were almost wrinkled into a Chuan character. Solixiu suggested with some distress. Sister, how about I stay and help you? Being able to lead a group of temporary sales teams alone and successfully complete the sales of a high-end residential area in less than a day is enough to prove Sulixiu's leadership ability, overall view, and sales level, and she is also competent for the position of director of the sales department. Therefore, when Sulixi, who was moved, was about to have a good discussion with Shen Loxi, Zhang Fengjai suddenly shook his head and refused. Sister Litsi, Yongshen Group has not fallen to the point where it needs Xiaoxiu's help. Then, he looked at the dozens of sales staff watching around him, and encouraged with strong confidence on his face. Since I can transform a Heshuo community, known as a Tiankang, into a hot property that everyone is rushing to buy, then I can also use the same method to transform all the communities opened by Yongshen Group. At that time, there is only one thing you need to do, that is, sit in the sales hall honestly, and then wait for the money to automatically fall on your head. Since Zhang Fengjai took the initiative to mention the transformation, it means that he agreed to reveal the supernatural methods he showed in the Heshuo community to stabilize the scattered morale of the sales department. So, Pan Switting, who guessed Zhang Fengjai's thoughts, immediately gave Xia Qingxuan a look, and then called the colleagues in the sales department back to the office, and began to describe in detail Zhang Fengjai's completely unscientific methods. Logo 11, Sister Litsi, I'm so sorry, I didn't expect that temporarily borrowing the staff of the sales department would cause such a big trouble and loss to the group afterwards. The reason why I agreed to Xia Qingxuan and others' proposal to return to the head office first was just to slap them in the face, just to make Ma Ting, who rejected his invitation at the beginning, and those sales elites feel envious and regretful, and there was no idea of forcing them to resign and leave. So, when everyone returned to the president's office, Zhang Fengjai quickly apologized to Shen Loxi and Sulixi. Yezi, this matter has nothing to do with you. Because Sulixiu was also present, Shen Loxi was embarrassed to be too intimate with Zhang Fengjai, so she sat in the boss's chair and smiled to comfort and explain. Because of the sales champion for 2 consecutive years, Ma Ting has become too arrogant and conceited. Except for me and Sister Litsi, she now doesn't even take the ministers and directors of various departments of the group seriously. Such arrogant and clique-forming employees have seriously affected the operation of the company. Even if she doesn't resign today, I will force her to resign and leave in a short time. I can't let a rat shit ruin the development of the group. After hearing Shen Loxi's comfort and explanation, Zhang Fengjai's self-blame and guilt gradually dissipated. Then, he took the initiative to invite Shen Loxi and Sulixi to attend the celebration party tonight. First, after Ma Ting and the collective betrayal of the 11 sales elites, they need to cultivate direct sales confidence to avoid collective betrayal in the future. The 6 girls who have just experienced the hot sales of Heshuo community, have accumulated certain sales experience, and have a rich net worth of more than 10 million, and will not easily betray, are the best candidates for training as confidants. Second, Xiao Yuxuan, who has given up the cross-disciplinary postgraduate entrance examination, decided to officially join Yongshen Group. Shen Loxi and Sulixi can deliberately show their closeness and respect for Xiao Yuxuan at the celebration banquet, which will be beneficial to her future work and promotion in the sales department. Third, I also hope that they can relax well, which can not only eliminate the depression and unhappiness caused by the betrayal of Ma Ting and others today, but also relieve the fatigue of hard work in recent times. In this regard, Shen Loxi and Sulixi nodded and agreed without much delay. Guanghe Huafu, in the villa of the Shen family. With the sales of nearly 3 billion yuan in Heshuo community, Sulixiu began to apply for the approval of the abandoned flour mill to be converted into a leisure green park. With the secret help of Zhuang Jian and Zhu Zhenjun, and the guidance of professionals sent by Shen Loxi, it took less than 3 days for the procedures for the transformation approval to be approved smoothly. From project establishment to rules, from rules to bidding, from bidding to construction, it takes at least more than a month, and his help is not needed during this period. Therefore, Zhang Fengshi has been staying in the villa of the Shen family, either carefully studying the hidden dangers of Hunyuan taking heart method, or using gray energy to improve the grade of the physical body, or having a fierce fight with Sulitsi, Shenloxi and Xiao Yuxuan. This leisurely and carefree life made him indulge in it without thinking about anything else. It was not until the morning of the seventh day when he suddenly received a call from Zhuang Jian that his leisurely and carefree life came to an end. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuqi. Chapter 513. Guanghe Washington Mansion, Shen Family Villa. Dip, drip, drip. Zhang Fengjai, who was sleeping, was suddenly awakened by the ringtone of his cell phone on the bedside table. Opening his sleepy eyes and glancing at the phone number displayed on the screen of his mobile phone, which was Zhuang Jian, he answered the call and said a lazy hello. Sister Yan, morning. Yi, something happened. Zhuang Jian's panicked voice immediately came over the phone. Zhuang Jian's slightly panicked tone made Zhang Fengjai wake up from his hazy drowsiness immediately. He quickly took out the arm that Shenloxi was resting on, then walked to the windowsill wrapped in a towel and gave instructions in a serious tone. Sister Yan, take a deep breath, exhale slowly, and then tell me what happened. On the phone, Zhuang Jian, who suppressed her inner panic by taking deep breaths, gradually regained her composure and said. Yezi Yanzi, who was in charge of intelligence collection in Dongshan province just now, sent me a message, saying that an elite disciple and 3 inner disciples of the Lishan sect had sneaked into our Ningji city 3 days ago, but they have not been found yet. Their clues. Lishan school. Ranked 9th among the 10 major sects of Taoism, it is inherited from the famous Deluo Jingxian Zhang Zhenren in the medieval period. He is good at talismans, swordsmanship, and feng shui of yin and yang and the 5 elements. The Lishan sect is located in Qingdao, Dongshan province. It is the sect closest to the Western Holy See and foreign races. Therefore, during the Great War of the century between the East and the West, the mountain gate of the Lishan sect was also temporarily used as the headquarters of the Alliance army. Although the final result of the Century War was the victory of the alliance between the Eastern Taoist monks and the Demon Clan, in the early stages of the war, the negligent Eastern monks and Demon Clan were at a disadvantage. This also led to the Lishan sect as the headquarters of the alliance. The losses were heavy. The mountain gate, which is like a fairyland, was almost destroyed by the forbidden magic doomsday judgment cast by the Holy See. The strong men and disciples that the sect worked so hard to cultivate were almost wiped out in a sneak attack by vampires and werewolves. If Teju had not immediately signed a recuperation agreement with the Daemon and the Yaezu after the war, and prohibited any fights between the Daemon and the Yaezu, the weakened Lishan sect would not only have fallen out of the top 10 Daemon sections ranking, and there is also the danger of being exterminated. Now, even after nearly 100 years of recuperation, without the assistance of a large number of cultivation resources, without the help of a large number of top teachings, and under the continued persecution of 10 years of turmoil, the strength of the Lishan sect may not be restored much. So, facing the infiltration of elite disciples and inner disciples of the Lishan sect, he didn't quite understand why Zhuang Jian felt panicked. Yizi, the reason why Yanzi was able to discover that the disciples of the Lishan sect had lurked in Ningji city was because when she contacted the heads of the research institutes in Zhezhou city and Lanja city, she discovered that they had disappeared inexplicably. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's question, Zhuang Jian quickly explained the reason for her panic. Later, the institute sent 3 seniors from the Foundation building realm to investigate, and found that not only were they secretly killed, but their bodies were also brutally refined into zombies. Based on the clues left at the scene, the 3 seniors finally concluded that their murderer should be a disciple of the Lishan sect who is proficient in corpse suppression. At the same time, based on the murderer's route, The three seniors speculated that the disciples of the Lishan sect should have entered Ningji city and had been sneaking in for more than 3 days. Zhuang Jian's explanation made Zhang Fengjai suddenly feel nervous and asked quickly, "Sister Yan, how do the three foundation building seniors from the Supernatural Research Institute plan to deal with the disciples of the Lishan sect? Have they arranged any specific measures to protect your safety?" After hearing Zhang Fengjai's questioning, Zhuang Jian on the phone was silent for a while, and then said in a bitter tone, "Three seniors in the foundation building realm have rushed to Mutant City in advance, planning to set up a dragnet to intercept and kill the Lishan sect disciples. As for my safety, the leaders in the institute seem to have neglected it." Bang! His right hand suddenly slapped on the windowsill, and Zhang Fengjai's heart instantly ignited with fierce anger. Because he knew that the leader of the Supernatural Research Institute did not neglect Zhuang Jian's safety, but deliberately targeted her. To be more precise, he deliberately targeted himself. Even though he has reached a reconciliation agreement with Qiu Zexian, who is known as the Taoist master of chess, and is willing to become a non-staff member of the Supernatural Research Institute, some people in the Supernatural Research Institute are still full of hatred and want to kill him. "Yi, are you okay?" Zhuang Jian immediately felt the drastic change in his mood as his breathing gradually became heavier, and asked worriedly. After taking a deep breath and suppressing the burning anger in his heart, Zhang Fengjai warned in a cautious tone, "Sister Yan, please stay in the apartment and don't go out. I will pick you up now." "I see." After hanging up the phone in response, Zhuang Jian quickly took out the charms given by Zhang Fengjai, pasted them on the doors and windows respectively, and then hid in the bathroom with her cell phone in hand. And at the moment Zhuang Jian had just hid in the bathroom, a handsome young man holding a delicate compass appeared at the gate of Ningji Normal University. After taking a look at the direction pointed by the silver needle of the compass, a faint smile appeared on the face of the handsome young man, and then he put away the compass and stepped into the normal college. "So handsome." "Yeah, he's more handsome and charming than those little freshmen in movies and TV. I don't know if he has a girlfriend now. Should I ask him for his WeChat ID now?" Go, we support you mentally." His calm smile, graceful temperament and handsome appearance gave the young man a charming charm, which made some girls who came in and out of the school couldn't help but sigh. After hearing the compliments and exclamations from those girls, although a glint of pride flashed in the handsome young man's eyes, he did not slow down and went straight to the teacher's apartment on the east side of the college. However, when the handsome young man passed by the rockery and the pond, he saw a girl coming out of the library and subconsciously stopped. Her face is like a lotus flower, her pure and jade-like temperament, her graceful figure, and her slender legs. A heart-thumping feeling made the handsome young man step forward to meet him again. "Hello, my surname is Xiao and my given name is Zhu Hai. I wonder what I call the girl." Although the young man in front of him was a little rude in striking up a conversation, his handsome appearance and graceful temperament made Zhou Yaru, who was also a little moved, introduce herself with a blushing face. "Hello, my surname is Zhou and my first name is Yaru. You can call me Xiao or Ruru." The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 514. After putting away his phone and getting dressed, Zhang Fengjai gently kissed Shen Loxi's forehead, then used the Qingfeng step to leave the villa directly through the windowsill, and then took a taxi to the normal college. The journey originally took about 25 minutes, but with the encouragement of 3 red tickets, the taxi driver, who fully demonstrated his superb driving skills, only took 16 minutes to successfully arrive at the entrance of the normal college. "Master, thank you. The sooner you arrive at the normal college, the more guaranteed Zhuang Jian's safety will be." So, before Zhang Fengjai got off the car, he sincerely thanked the taxi driver. Then, when he quickened his pace and prepared to rush into the normal college, he suddenly stopped at the place where the handsome young man had just stood. "Stand still and close your eyes, and feel it carefully. 3 seconds later, Zhang Fengjai suddenly opened his eyes, and a terrifying cold light flashed in his eyes, and then he ignored the surprised eyes of the students and security guards around him and directly used the Qingfeng step to rush to the teacher's apartment. When he arrived at the teacher's apartment, he immediately took out his cell phone to contact Zhuang Jian while continuing to use the Qingfeng step to rush to the 13th floor through the stairs. Fortunately, the call was not only successfully connected, but Zhuang Jian was not in any danger, which made Zhang Fengjai couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Yezi. After opening the door of the apartment, Zhuang Jian, who was instantly relaxed when she saw Zhang Fengjai standing at the door, immediately hugged him excitedly. Sister Yan, pack up quickly, let's leave here immediately. Gently patting Zhuang Jian's shoulders, Zhang Fengjai quickly reminded her. Because I was at the gate of the college and clearly felt the breath of the compass magic weapon, I think the disciples of Lishan school have not only locked your breath, but should be in the college at this moment. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's reminder, Zhuang Jian quickly let go of her jade arm and turned back to the bedroom, simply packed a few clothes and valuables, and then picked up the car keys and left the apartment. Afterwards, Zhang Fengjai took Zhuang Jian to take the elevator to leave the apartment building. When they were about to go to the parking lot 30 meters away to pick up the car, they unexpectedly saw Zhou Yaru and a handsome young man walking side by side with a smile. Although the handsome young man tried his best to restrain the aura of a cultivator, the change of mind brought about by the change of mind method allowed Zhang Fengjai to clearly see through the other party's cultivation at the peak of the third level of foundation building. At the same time, the aura of the compass magic weapon that could not be concealed at all also allowed him to immediately guess the other party's true origin. So, he immediately mobilized the gray energy of the dark Danshan and reminded Zhuang Jian softly. Sister Yan, be alert. The handsome young man is not only a cultivator at the peak of the third level of foundation building, but also very likely an inner disciple of Lishan section. After hearing Zhang Fengjai's reminder, Zhuang Jian immediately looked up at the handsome young man, and then a feeling of extreme danger made her immediately believe Zhang Fengjai's judgment. Then, she quietly took out a life-saving spell that Qiu Zexian had given her when she returned to the base of the Supernatural Research Institute some time ago. It was precisely because of this life-saving spell that she still had a love-hate relationship with supernatural research. Zhuang Jian's hostile gaze immediately aroused Xiao Zuhai's vigilance. He quickly looked up at a man and a woman 30 meters away, and a look of surprise immediately flashed in his eyes. Then, he took out a golden compass from his arms and took a look. After his surprise was instantly replaced by determination, he turned his head and said to Zhou Yaru with a smile. Ruru, don't you want to see the real Taoist magic of our Lishan school? I will show you now. Brother Zuhai, is it true? Zhou Yaru immediately asked in surprise when she heard that Xiao Zuhai was willing to use the powerful Taoist magic that she had longed for a long time. Of course. While nodding to confirm, Xiao Zuhai mobilized the spiritual power of his Danshan to condense a sharp sword, and then looked ahead with fierce murderous intent in his eyes. Zhang Fengjai, Teacher Zhuang. Xiao Zuhai's murderous eyes immediately attracted Zhou Yaru's attention, and she looked up quickly. When she saw that the man and woman were Zhang Fengjai and Zhuang Jian, whom she knew, she immediately greeted them with surprise. Ignoring Zhou Yaru's greeting, Zhang Fengjai also used the grey energy of his Danshan to condense a sharp sword while looking at the handsome young man who condensed a sharp sword. When Xiao Zuhai saw that the thin boy also condensed a sharp sword in his hand, he was stunned for a moment, and then a look of surprise flashed in his eyes. Because when he first observed Zhang Fengjai and Zhuang Jian, he found that the target of this assassination was the enchanting woman who had reached the peak of the 6th level of qi condensation. But the thin boy next to her did not have the slightest power fluctuation, which made him mistakenly think that the other party was just an ordinary college student. So, when he saw that the other party could condense a sharp sword like a Taoist monk, he was very surprised. However, When he noticed that the sword condensed by the thin boy was dark gray in color, the surprise in his eyes was instantly replaced by doubt. Influenced by the mind method and spiritual energy, the spiritual power cultivated by most Taoist monks is milky white, and the sword condensed by spiritual power will also be milky white in color. Unless it is an evil cultivator or poison cultivator who specializes in practicing unorthodox methods, the sword condensed will show other colors. But the aura exuding from the skinny boy's body was not only devoid of any sinister aura, but the purest aura of awe-inspiring righteousness. This was exactly what puzzled him. So, when he saw that Zhou Yaru knew the thin young man, he quickly asked, "Ruru, where did that boy named Zhang Fengjai come from?" "Brother Zuhai, I don't have much contact with Zhang Fengjai. I only know that he comes from a place called Shushan in Fuku City. He is not only good at fortune telling, but also very good at fortune telling." Although a jealous fight in front of the restaurant resolved the original conflict over taking advantage of the other party, Zhang Fengjai's subsequent deliberate alienation and Xiao Zuhai's promise to pass on the spiritual method of cultivating immortality to her made Zhou Yaru decide to reveal everything she knew. There is a distance of 30 meters between each other. For ordinary people, they may not be able to hear what the other person is saying at all. But for Zhang Fengjai and Zhuang Jian, who have excellent hearing, they can hear clearly. Although Zhang Fengjai didn't care much about Zhou Yaru revealing some information about him, Zhuang Jian, who regarded him as the only one, couldn't tolerate Zhou Yaru's leak just now. Therefore, when she looked at Zhou Yaru, her eyes immediately revealed a look full of murderous intent. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 515. Ningji Normal University, in front of the teacher's apartment building. Fuku City is the holy place where the saint was born and preached in the Middle Ages. Shushan, which is 9,999 meters away from the place where the saint was born, should be the old guy's seclusion. After hearing the information disclosed by Zhou Yaru, Xiao Zuhai squinted his eyes slightly and made secret calculations. At such a young age, his cultivation level has already advanced to the realm of foundation building. The Yuan Li after the transformation of the mind method is also very weird, and he is also proficient in the physiognomy of yin and yang. Could it be that he belongs to that guy? Xiao Zuhai's eyes widened suddenly, and he asked sternly while pointing his sword at Zhang Fengjai. "Boy, tell me quickly, what is your relationship with the Wuxan old thief from Shushan Taoist Temple?" Zhang Fengjai, whose face instantly darkened when he heard that the other party dared to insult his third grandfather, began to curse loudly. "You bastard who has eyes but cannot see Taishan. Taoist priest Wuxan is your ancestor, and I am your grandfather. You dare to insult your ancestors? You are a shameless person who is rebellious, forgets his ancestors, and deceives his teachers and destroys his ancestors. Didn't your parents teach you etiquette, justice, and integrity? Or maybe you are a living animal with no one to teach you. I have lived in a sect that respects teachers and religion since I was a child. I have been facing nurturing and well-educated elders and brothers all day long. I have never heard such rude and vicious curses." This made Xiao Zuhai, who was so angry that he didn't know what to do. How to refute? "Grandson, kneel down and kowtow immediately to apologize." "Grandpa, I am teaching you how to be a human being and how to deal with things." Not because Xiao Zuhai was speechless, Zhang Fengjai stopped swearing. He continued to use provocative and humiliating methods to retaliate for the other party's insult to third grandpa just now, to provoke the other party to reveal his weaknesses, so that he could launch a fatal blow. Puff. The humiliation beyond imagination made the anger that kept rising in Dong Zuhai's heart grow stronger and stronger. In the end, the burning power of anger exceeded the limit that he could bear, causing his heart to vomit out several mouthfuls of blood. Seeing the handsome young man looking up to the sky and vomiting blood, Zhang Fengjai flashed a light in his eyes and immediately used Qing Feng step with all his strength, appearing in front of the opponent at a speed as fast as the wind. Immediately afterwards, he took advantage of the opponent's lack of time to dodge and counterattack, and used the Taoist silver needle to quickly seal the opponent's stanchion and heart, and then knocked out the opponent's mind with one palm. Zhang Fengjai, what are you doing? Seeing Zhang Fengjai not only pierce two silver needles emitting a gloomy cold light directly into Dong Zuhai's abdomen and heart, but also knocking him out, Zhou Yaru's expression suddenly changed. Yue, he asked. Zhou Yaru, now is not the time for you to worry about what Ye Zi is doing. Instead, you should worry about whether your own life is safe. Seeing Zhang Fengjai successfully sealing the inner disciple of the Lishan sect, Zhuang Jian secretly breathed a sigh of relief and came to him with the same movement and martial arts skills. She happened to hear Zhou Yaru's rude question. She had murderous intentions because Zhou Yaru had just revealed Zhang Fengjai's secret. When she heard that the other party continued to provoke Zhang Fengjai regardless of life and death, she couldn't help but sneer and warn. When she saw Zhuang Jian's mouth slightly raised, and the frightening cold light in her eyes, Zhou Yaru suddenly felt a bad feeling in her heart. She asked sternly while quietly backing away and planning to leave. Teacher Zhuang, what do you want to do? Classmate Zhou Yaru, your teacher should have taught you when you were in school that you should be punished if you make a mistake. While pressing her slender jade fingers, Zhuang Jian threatened with a sinister smile. Since you dared to reveal Ye Zi's secret and caused him to be recognized by the disciples of the Lishan sect, then you will now bear the wrath of his woman, who is me, Zhuang Jian. Teacher Zhuang, if you punish me just for this reason, then you are being unreasonable. After hearing that the reason for Zhuang Jian's punishment was actually the introduction of Zhang Fengjai's origin just now, Zhou Yaru immediately retorted unconvinced. Although it cannot be said that it is a secret known to everyone, Zhang Fengjai comes from Shushan and is proficient in physiognomy, but several roommates in my dormitory, several of Tian Huiwen's best friends, and several of Xiao Yuxuan's suitors all know it. Even if I didn't say anything just now, Xiao Zuhai would be able to find out if he just makes some inquiries in our college. Strong words. Faced with Zhou Yaru's unrepentant sophistry, Zhuang Jian sneered and immediately quickened her pace to prepare for action. But at this moment, Zhou Yaru raised the phone that showed the call status and warned with a proud smile on her face. Zhuang Jian, just when you threatened me, my student, I had already secretly called the police. If you don't want to be caught by the police, then let Brother Zuhai and I leave immediately. Otherwise, as a university teacher, you should know the sentencing for intentional injury. After giving the triumphant warning, Zhou Yaru immediately turned on the speakerphone of her mobile phone, and the policewoman's advice immediately came to her phone. This teacher named Zhuang, I don't care what kind of conflicts you have with your students, you can't do it privately. Zhuang Jian, with a cold light flashing in her eyes, directly interrupted the policewoman's advice on the phone and ordered in a majestic tone. Get your director's call immediately and tell him that Suzaku number 36 from the Supernatural Research Institute wants to speak to him. Although Zhuang Jian's order seemed a bit inexplicable, she couldn't pretend to be a superior leader. Therefore, the female police officer on the phone immediately gave a polite signal and quickly went to ask the superior leader for instructions. Please wait a moment. The polite attitude and tone of the female police officer on the phone made Zhou Yaru immediately realize that the teacher Zhuang in front of her was not just an ordinary teacher in the university, but seemed to have a more mysterious and powerful identity. The waiting time is not very long, only about 20 seconds. After using special means to connect to the director's personal phone call, a rich and powerful man's voice came from Zhou Yaru's cell phone. Wang Qinghua, director of the Ningji City Public Security Bureau, has met Chief No 36. When she heard the director of the Public Security Bureau calling Zhuang Jian, Zhou Yaru couldn't help but change her face, and her jade hand holding the phone trembled slightly. The girl who called the police just now is an evil cultivator who has killed more than a dozen people on her hands. She has power beyond nature, so you don't have to interfere in what happens next. Zhuang Jian, with a glimmer of pride in her eyes, gave the command in a domineering tone, and then a burst of UN power popped up to smash the phone. The evil cultivator who took more than a dozen lives? When Zhou Yaru heard Zhuang Jian slandering her crime, her face turned as pale as a sheet of paper. She turned around and planned to escape without caring about the smashed mobile phone. But at this moment, a sudden attack on her neck made her vision go black and she fainted. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yanyun Yuqi. Chapter 516. Ningji Normal College, in front of the building of the teacher's apartment. Ignoring Zhuang Jian's threats and attacks on Zhou Yaru, Zhang Fengjai squatted in front of the stunned Xiao Zuhai and searched him from all directions. After a careful search, he found a golden compass, a small and exquisite bell, 3 exquisite porcelain bottles, a token symbolizing identity, a jade pendant engraved with a dragon, 6 poisonous hidden weapons, and 12 different types of spells from his sleeves, trouser legs, belt, chest and cloth shoes. After reaching out to pick up the golden compass and observing it carefully, Zhang Fengjai's eyes immediately showed a look of surprise. Because the golden compass not only has the powerful function of breath tracking, but also is a feng shui magic weapon specially used to lock the consciousness of the spirit vein. Originally, the yin and yang spirit veins under the abandoned flour mill, whether in terms of the grade of the spirit veins or the strength of the condensed spirit beasts, could not be compared with the pseudo-dragon veins of Tianren Hospital. Logically speaking, the geomantic ruler that can manipulate the pseudo-dragon vein consciousness can easily subdue the consciousness of the yin-yang spiritual vein and force it to hand over the crystal stone. However, the characteristics of yin-yang co-cultivation and mutual transfer make the consciousness of the yin-yang spiritual vein become floating. In the case that the exact location of the yin-yang spiritual vein consciousness cannot be accurately locked, and its own strength is far inferior to the spiritual vein, the geomantic ruler cannot play a restraining role at all, which is why he wants to build a leisure green park. Because the means of changing the feng shui pattern can not only weaken the strength of the yin-yang spiritual vein and reduce the risk of accidents, but also compress the scope of the yin-yang spiritual vein consciousness, and truly play the role of the geomantic ruler in restraining the spiritual vein. Now, with a compass that can accurately lock the spiritual vein consciousness, he does not need to use the means of changing the feng shui pattern, and can cooperate with the geomantic ruler to deal with the yin-yang spiritual vein, thereby making up for the defects of the Hunyuan taking heart method in advance. After happily putting away the compass, Zhang Fengjai reached out and picked up the small and exquisite bell, put it in front of his eyes and observed it carefully, and found that the inside of the bell was engraved with runes. According to his understanding of the spells of the talismans, those runes are specially used to restrain the 7 souls of zombies to produce resentment, so as to achieve the effect of suppression and manipulation. In other words, the small and exquisite bell in his hand is a corpse-suppressing bell specially made by the Lishan school. When he thought of what Zhuang Jian had mentioned on the phone, the heads of the Supernatural Research Institute in Zhezhou City and Lanjia City were turned into zombies by the disciples of the Lishan school, a terrifying cold light flashed in his eyes. Because with the continuous deterioration of the environment of heaven and earth, and the custom of the country advocating cremation, the number of naturally formed zombies has become less and less. Except for some deep mountains and old forests and top feng shui treasures, there are still a certain number of zombies. The number of zombies in the city is almost extinct. The rapid decrease in the number of zombies has the greatest impact on the forces that specialize in suppressing and manipulating zombies, such as the Mission sect, the Xiangzi corpse-driving clan, and the Lishan sect. Because there are no zombies to eradicate, they lose the opportunity to make money, which affects their daily lives and the resources they buy for cultivation. Because there are no zombies that can be suppressed, they lose the opportunity to manipulate and cultivate zombies, which affects their combat effectiveness and weakens the overall strength of the sect. Therefore, the mission sect has gradually changed its way of cultivation decades ago, focusing on exorcising ghosts and monsters and practicing talismans and spells. The Xiangzi corpse-driving clan either hides in the mountains and forests to look for zombies, or integrates into the secular world and lives an ordinary life. Originally, Zhang Fengjai thought that the Lishan sect, which was closed off for recuperation, would also change its way of cultivation like the mission sect, focusing on talismans and spells and the practice of yin and yang, 5 elements, and feng shui. Now it seems that not only did they not succumb to reality and change their way of cultivation, but they broke the taboos of Taoism and unscrupulously refined zombies. Sects like this that have completely fallen into evil ways are not only a cancer in the secular world, but also the natural enemy of Taoist monks. Therefore, even if Xiao Zuhai had not hunted down Zhuang Jian, he would never let the 3 disciples of Lishan sect leave Ningji city alive. After taking a deep breath and forcibly suppressing the murderous intent that emerged in his heart, Zhang Gui put away the corpse-suppressing bell, and then picked up one of the 3 exquisite porcelains and opened it directly. Then, a very pungent fishy smell made his face suddenly change. He immediately held his breath and quickly covered the bottle mouth, and then blew a strong wind with his right palm to blow away the fishy smell. Then, he breathed a long sigh of relief, and his eyes looking at Xiao Zuhai revealed a gloomy chill. Because the pills that exuded a pungent fishy smell in the porcelain bottle were called zombie pills, which were made from the poisonous blood and corpse gas of zombies, and could turn a living person into a zombie that only knew how to kill. Originally, he was still considering whether to chop off Xiao Zuhai's head directly or dig a deep pit to bury him alive after squeezing out Xiao Zuhai's usefulness. Now, with the zombie pill that can refine zombies, Xiao Zuhai will never lose his usefulness. After carefully putting away the porcelain bottle containing the zombie pill, Zhang Fengjai prepared to hold his breath in advance, and then reached out and slowly opened the second porcelain bottle. Then, a strong smell that could instantly refresh his spirit made him look surprised, and he immediately poured out the pills in the porcelain bottle. After careful observation, Zhang Fengjai turned his head and looked at Zhuang Jian, who had knocked Zhou Yaru unconscious, and asked, "Sister Yan, when did the heads of the Supernatural Research Institute in Zhezhou City and Lanja City have an accident?" After putting the stunned Zhou Yaru next to Xiao Zuhai, Zhuang Jian thought for a while and then answered. "The head of Zhezhou City is Dong Sun He, who has the cultivation base of the 4th level of qi condensation. According to the calculation of the foundation building senior who is in charge of the investigation, Dong Sun He had an accident 7 days ago. The head of Lanja City is Zhao Ziqian, who also has the cultivation base of the 4th level of qi condensation. The accident should have happened 4 days ago." Hearing Zhuang Jian's answer, Zhang Fengjai lowered his head and pondered for a while. After a firm look flashed in his eyes, he put away the porcelain bottle with a strong smell, and then reached out to open the 3rd porcelain bottle. "This is the Bigu pill that can relieve hunger. The color is like rice grains, the size of cherries, and the smell makes people salivate." Looking at the white pills poured out from the porcelain, Zhang Fengjai recognized the origin of the pills without too much observation. "Yezi, could it be a fasting pill that can help you not eat for 10 days or half a month after taking one?" Zhuang Jian asked in surprise. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 517. Ningji Normal University, in front of the teacher's apartment building. Spiritual power is not only the embodiment of a monk's strength, but also the basis for longevity. The greater the quantity and quality of Danshan spiritual energy accumulated, the stronger the strength will be and the more lifespan will be extended. Spiritual power is a special energy that is transformed by absorbing the spiritual energy of heaven and earth through mental methods, but the transformation process has many restrictions. For example, the monk's physique and talent, the grade and quality of the spiritual practice, the quality of the practice environment, etc. But one of the most important constraints is the length of practice time, that is, the time it takes to absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth using mental methods. Whether it is a monk in the Taoist sect or a monster beast in the monster clan, before the cultivation level reaches the golden elixir avenue, the body and soul still have to absorb the energy they need from food. Therefore, Bigo pill, which can satisfy the body's energy needs without eating, is the best pill to save time in practice. This is also the case for monks of the same age. The cultivation and strength of sect disciples are far better than those of family monks and casual cultivators. One of the main reasons. At the same time, if the monk is trapped in a place without food and water during the training process, then, Bigo pill is also one of the life-saving pills. These are the two reasons why Zhuang Jian was pleasantly surprised just now. That's right. While nodding in confirmation, Zhang Fengjai checked the number of pills in the porcelain bottle and found that including the pills in his palm, there were a total of 4 Bigo pills. Putting the Bigo pill in his hand back into the porcelain bottle, and then passing the porcelain bottle in front of Zhuang Jian, Zhang Fengjai gestured with a smile. Sister Yan, with the mental skills taught by Third Grandpa and the assistance of Yin Yang and 5 elements Feng Shui, I no longer need Bigo pills to save time in practice, so I will give these 4 Bigo pills to you. Yezi, thank you. After nearly 4 months of acquaintance and falling in love, Zhuang Jian has fully seen the speed at which Zhang Fengjai's cultivation and strength have improved. Therefore, after thanking her without any politeness, she directly reached out and took the porcelain bottle containing Bigo pill. Sister Yan, this is an identity token representing an inner disciple of the Lishan section. You can exchange it with the leader of the Research Institute for some training resources. He reached out to pick up the token made by Xiantai, and Zhang Fengjai looked at it from both sides. And then gave the instructions to Zhuang Jian. Yezi, according to the private regulations of the Institute, if you can kill the inner disciples of the 10 major sects of Taoism, you can exchange for 1,000-year-old blood ginseng, 1,000-year-old red fruit, a 400-year-old snakeberry, and a huge reward of 100 million yuan. After taking the token thrown by Zhang Fengjai, Zhuang Jian looked at it again and again, and then excitedly introduced the unspoken rules of the Supernatural Research Institute for dealing with Taoist monks. Of course, if you don't need the blood ginseng, vermilion fruit, and snakeberry, you can also exchange them for other medicinal materials of the same year. What if the sect disciples killed were elites? Zhang Fengjai immediately asked with interest when he thought that among the Lishan sect disciples lurking in Ningji city, there was also an elite-level disciple. 3,000 years of blood ginseng, 3,000 years of vermilion fruit, 1,000 years of snake berries, and a huge reward of 300 million yuan. Breaking the Taoist taboo of refining zombies has already made him murderous towards the 3 disciples of the Lishan sect. Nowadays, the lives of the elites and inner disciples of the Lishan sect can be exchanged from the Supernatural Research Institute for medicinal materials that can help improve the level of the physical body, so it is even more impossible for him to let them go easily. Therefore, he directly put away the remaining jade pendants and charms, then picked up Xiao Zuhai and gave instructions to Zhuang Jian. Sister Yan, go to the Shen family villa. In the basement of the Shen family villa. First, he slowly pulled out the Taoist silver needle that pierced his heart, and then poured a basin of cold water mixed with ice cubes directly on Xiao Zuhai's face. Afterwards, Zhang Fengjai turned around and returned to the soft and comfortable sofa, quietly waiting for the other party to wake up. The waiting time was not very long, only 5 or 6 seconds, and Xiao Zuhai slowly opened his eyes. When he felt the sealed dantian and saw the chaotic environment around him clearly, his expression changed slightly to a threatening one. Zhang Fengjai, do you know that you are in danger? If you still want to survive, you'd better let me go immediately. Ignoring Xiao Zuhai's threat, Zhang Fengjai ordered indifferently. Xiao Zuhai, please tell me your specific identity in the Lishan sect, the purpose of going down the mountain to practice, the identities and cultivation levels of the other 2 disciples, and the reasons for assassinating the heads of the supernatural research institutes in Juzhu City and Lanja City. Zhang Fengjai, since you already know that I am a disciple of the Lishan sect, you should be very clear about the status and strength of the Lishan sect in the Taoist section. Since he was captured alive and sealed, the other party must have searched him, so it is not surprising that he knows his origin through the identity token. What's more, there is Zhou Yaru who understands his origins better. Therefore, Xiao Zuhai, who was not surprised at all, warned with a hint of arrogance. If you don't want to be hunted down by my master, and you don't want to involve your family, relatives, and friends, then just obediently remove my seal, and then kneel down and kowtow to apologize. Seeing Xiao Zuhai's desperate provocation, Zhang Fengjai flashed a cold light in his eyes. After taking out 3 silver needles from his sleeves, he directly shot Xiao Zuhai's 3 acupuncture points of Qi Chong, Guan Guan, and Feng Qi. Ah! Then, a mixed feeling of pain, numbness, soreness, itching, coldness, heat, etc. made Xiao Zuhai's face gradually twist and howl in pain. In response, Zhang Fengjai pretended to cover his ears, showing that he would never give up easily. Zhang Fengjai, please take away the silver needles that seal the acupoints quickly. I will tell you everything. Having never suffered such excruciating torture, Xiao Zuhai quickly put down his pride as a sect disciple, gave up his determination not to speak, and begged bitterly. However, Zhang Fengjai, who covered his ears, pretended not to hear the other party's plea for mercy, and let the other party continue to howl. He waited until Xiao Zuhai's howling voice gradually became hoarse, and then he stretched out his right hand to suck back the 3 silver needles. Placing the 3 silver needles on the armrest of the sofa, Zhang Fengjai's expression returned to indifference and reminded. Xiao Zuhai, speak. After taking a deep breath to relieve the pain, Xiao Zuhai answered honestly. My surname is Xiao, my given name is Zuhai, my Taoist name is Qing Song, and I am an inner disciple of Zuhai Peak of Lishan section. I am a disciple of Zhao Yuxing, who has reached the initial stage of Sudan. The 2 brothers who sneaked into Ningji City with me are Zhao Zolin, an elite disciple who has reached the peak of the 7th level of foundation building, and Yan Shuhao, an inner disciple who has reached the peak of the 4th level of foundation building. As for the purpose of our descent this time. At this point, Xiao Zuhai suddenly fell silent and did not continue to speak. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 518. In the basement of the Shen family villa. Facing Xiao Zuhai's sudden silence, Zhang Fengjai not only did not show the slightest dissatisfaction, but frowned slightly, with a look of doubt in his eyes. Xiao Zuhai, what is the Sudan realm? Because when he successfully stepped into the Qi condensation realm using the Hunyuan taking heart method, the 3rd grandfather had introduced him in detail the realm division of cultivator's practice. Qi condensation, foundation building, and golden core are the initial realms of practice. There is no Sudan realm mentioned by Xiao Zuhai at all, which is why he did not pursue the other party's sudden silence just now. Facing Zhang Fengjai's inquiry, Xiao Zuhai, who was struggling whether to reveal the purpose of his training, asked with a hint of surprise. Zhang Fengjai, don't you know the specific division of our cultivator's practice realms? After all, the Taoist Wuxin behind Zhang Fengjai is a peerless evildoer who is rarely seen in 100 years, and is also the cultivator with the most hope of achieving the Golden Core Avenue. Then, when he was guiding Zhang Fengjai's practice, it was impossible for him not to introduce in detail the realm of the cultivator's practice and the practice matters that need to be paid attention to in each realm. What nonsense, just answer what I ask you. Zhang Fengjai, whose face suddenly darkened, shouted in a sharp tone. In fact, he did not reveal his own doubts about the realm because he was worried that Xiao Zuhai would fool him in the following explanation. Facing Zhang Fengjai's scolding, Xiao Zuhai, with a flash of displeasure in his eyes, introduced helplessly. Zhang Fengjai, according to one's own perception and the changes in Danshan Yuan Li, Our cultivator's cultivation realm is divided into Qi condensation stage, foundation building stage, void pill stage and golden pill stage, and each realm is further divided into 9 levels. Among them, the void pill stage is when one's own perception has reached the golden pill stage, but cannot smoothly condense a physical golden pill that can blast open the immortal gate, so one can only temporarily condense a void pill in the danshan that cannot accommodate the rules of heaven and earth. In fact, the void pill stage is a transitional stage where the time of promotion cannot be predicted, so it is also called the half-step golden pill stage, which is what we commonly call the top powerhouse. After hearing Xiao Zuhai's detailed introduction to the void pill stage, Zhang Fengjai, with a flash of enlightenment in his eyes, finally understood why his third grandfather forgot about the void pill stage when he was telling him about the division of realms. The cultivators absorb the spiritual energy of heaven and earth into their own bodies, seize the power of heaven and earth for their own use, and break the limit of their own lifespan, which is itself an act against heaven and earth, and will inevitably be punished by the consciousness of heaven and earth. If you want to resist the punishment of the heaven and earth consciousness, you can only constantly stimulate your own potential and seize more heaven and earth power, which requires unyielding perseverance and the courage to not fear life and death. Then, the Sudan stage, which cannot predict when it will be able to advance to the Jindan realm, is actually a compromise with the heaven and earth consciousness, and has lost the perseverance and courage to fight against the heaven and take life. For cultivators like this, even if they are lucky enough to advance to the Jindan realm in the future, their lifelong achievements will probably stop at the Jindan stage forever, and it will be difficult to impact a higher realm and get a longer life. And the third grandfather deliberately ignored the Sudan stage, hoping that he would maintain his unyielding perseverance and the courage to not fear life and death without knowing the Sudan realm, and be able to directly skip the Sudan stage and directly advance to the Jindan avenue, so as to retain the potential and hope to impact a higher realm. At the same time, recalling the contemptuous tone of the third grandfather when he mentioned the top strongmen, as well as the confidence and domineering attitude he showed during the practice, he was almost 100% sure that the third grandfather had not only successfully advanced to the Golden Core realm, but also achieved the Golden Core Great Dao by directly crossing the Void Core realm. Taking a deep breath, adjusting the emotional changes caused by guessing that the third grandfather had achieved the Golden Core Great Dao, Zhang Fengjai reached out and picked up the 3 silver needles on the armrest of the sofa, and his expression returned to indifference and ordered. Xiao Zuhai, continue the previous topic. Xiao Zuhai, who was still hesitating whether to reveal the sex secrets, shuddered subconsciously when he saw the 3 silver needles in Zhang Fengjai's hand that he used to torture himself, and finally continued to talk about it with fear overcoming hesitation. The purpose of our going down the mountain this time is, first, to improve our state of mind through the experience in the secular world, and second, to refine 108 orange zombie-level zombies. Bang! Zhang Fengjai suddenly broke the armrest of the sofa with force, and a strong murderous aura instantly emerged from his body. Just as monks are divided into the realms of Qi condensation, foundation building, and golden core, as supernatural creatures, zombies also have very detailed levels. White zombies are the lowest level zombies, with grayish-white eyes and white hair all over their bodies. Generally, when they die with their eyes open, their resentment binds their 3 souls and 7 spirits and they leave their bodies. Then, after being baptized by the essence of the moon and the yin sha qi, they become primary zombies. Zombies of this level are only slightly stronger than ordinary people. Not only are they very slow in their movements, but they are also very afraid of sunlight and fire, and even more afraid of human breath. Their survival rate is also quite low. Black zombies are like the upgrade of white zombies, similar to the difference between monks and ordinary people. The eyes of black zombies are dark black, and the white hair all over their bodies is replaced by black hair. There are 3 origins of black zombie-level zombies. The first is that white zombies complete the upgrade by absorbing the essence of the moon and the yin-sha energy. Generally, the black zombies that are promoted through self-cultivation, although their consciousness is still muddled and their hearts are full of resentment that cannot be dissipated, can control their instincts and will not easily cause killing, let alone actively attack humans. However, this kind of black zombies that are promoted through self-cultivation not only take a very long time to be promoted, but also are very rare in number, basically belonging to rare zombies that are rarely seen in 100 years. The second type is the black zombies that are naturally formed by the corpse gas gathered in the Feng Shui treasure land. Although this kind of naturally formed black zombies are irritable and like to swallow blood, they are affected by the laws of nature and rarely appear in places where humans gather. Most of them live in seclusion in deep mountains and old forests. Due to the influence of the environment of heaven and earth and the custom of cremation, the number of this kind of naturally formed black zombies is also very rare. The third type is artificially created black zombies. And there are three ways to form this kind of artificially created zombies. The first way is to find white zombies that have been baptized by the essence of the moon and the yin sha qi, and force them to feed human blood. 1 adult human blood a day, and they can be successfully promoted to black zombies within 7 days. The second method is to use zombie pills to transform ordinary humans into white zombies, and then use the same method of feeding human blood to successfully upgrade to black zombies within 5 days. The third method is to use zombie pills to transform cultivators in the Qi condensation realm. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 519. In the basement of the Shen family villa. Because the monks in the Qi condensation stage have successfully used their spiritual power to open up their danshan, they can perfectly integrate it with the corpse energy of the zombie pill. Therefore, monks in the Qi condensation stage who use the zombie pill to transform will automatically be promoted to black zombie the moment the transformation is successful. However, the artificially created Hezong is not only cruel and murderous in nature, but also has an almost crazy obsession with improving strength. He likes to gain strength by devouring human blood. This is why the Taoist sect and the demon clan prohibit the artificial creation of zombies. Orange zombie is a sublimated version of black zombie, equivalent to a monk in the foundation establishment stage, with orange eyes and orange hair all over his body. Orange level zombies are affected by the laws of nature and cannot be created artificially. Therefore, the emergence of orange zombie is either through self-cultivation, the natural formation of a top Feng Shui treasure land, or the promotion of continuing to swallow human blood. Since there is a huge difference in strength between orange zombie and black zombie, the energy, blood, and time required for promotion also increase exponentially. If it is a white zombie that has been baptized by the essence of the moon and the evil spirit, and is promoted to a black zombie by sucking blood, then, you need to suck the blood of 2 adult humans every day, and you can successfully advance to orange zombie in 14 days. If you use zombie pills to transform ordinary human achievements into white zombies, and also use blood-sucking methods to advance to black zombies, then, you need to suck the blood of 3 adult humans every day, and you can successfully advance to orange zombie in 10 days. If the zombie pill is used to transform the black zombie who is a monk in the Qi condensation stage, he needs to swallow the blood of 5 adult humans every day, and after 7 days of precipitation, he can successfully advance to the orange zombie. A black zombie who uses the zombie pill to transform the achievements of a monk in the Qi condensation stage needs to sacrifice 35 living adult humans if he wants to successfully advance to orange zombie. Then, the 108 orange zombies who need to be promoted will need to sacrifice nearly 4,000 ordinary people. This is a completely inhuman massacre of the village. What's more, the blood of 35 ordinary adult humans only completes the initial promotion to orange zombie. If orange zombie level zombies want to continue to improve their strength, they will need more human blood. Therefore, Zhang Fengjai, who was filled with unknown anger, not only wanted to kill the other two disciples of the Lishan sect, but also found a way to destroy the Lishan sect, which had completely fallen into evil ways. Zhang Fenjai, such crazy actions are not what I, Zhu Hai, do willingly, but I cannot disobey my teacher's orders. Zhang Fenjai's sudden action of breaking the armrest of the sofa, and the strong murderous aura emerging from his body, made Xiao Zuhai feel frightened and quickly defended himself. Because he was worried that Zhang Fenjai would either continue to torture him under the influence of rage, or directly kill him. Thinking that all the doubts in his heart had not been solved, Zhang Fenjai took a deep breath, suppressed the strong murderous intention that was constantly emerging in his heart, and then continued to give instructions with an indifferent expression. Keep talking. Feeling that the murderous aura emerging from Zhang Fenjai gradually dissipated, Xiao Zuhai breathed a sigh of relief and quickly continued his story. The reason why we chose the person in charge assigned by the Supernatural Research Institute in various cities as the goal of transforming Orange Zombie was based on two considerations. First of all, the people in charge stationed in various cities have the same mental method, which makes it easier for us to use the compass instrument to track them. Secondly, the Supernatural Research Institute has a large number of Qi condensation stage and foundation establishment stage monks, which can satisfy the number of Qi condensation stage monks we can capture alive in a short period of time, and at the same time, we are not afraid of their revenge if they find out. Because when the Taoist sect signed an agreement with Tasia to recuperate, in order to avoid the situation of breeding tigers, all the top mental methods presented to the Supernatural Research Institute were carefully modified by powerful men in the Golden Core realm. Pass. With the modified mental method, not only the speed of cultivation advancement is very slow, but the highest lifetime achievement is the peak of the third level of Sudan. No wonder. After hearing Xiao Zuhai's explanation, Zhang Fenjai finally understood why the third grandfather despised the Supernatural Research Institute. After all, the higher the cultivation level, the greater the strength gap between realms. Based on the realm's control over power, a top expert at the early stage of the fourth level of the Void Pill could easily kill 3 or 4 top experts at the peak of the third level of the Void Pill. However, thinking about the strange feeling in his heart, he did not feel contempt for the Supernatural Research Institute because of Xiao Zuhai's explanation. Then he continued to ask the last question he wanted to know. Where are Xiao Zuhai, Zhao Zolin, and Yan Shuhao at this time? King Xinjia Tea House. Even the sex violation of Taoist taboos in refining zombies has been confessed, so there is no need to cover up for the 2 senior brothers with whom he has a very normal relationship. Therefore, Xiao Zuhai answered very readily. After getting the answer he wanted to know, Zhang Fenjai stretched out his fingers and used 2 powerful beams, directly hitting Xiao Zuhai's acupoints and Yamen acupoints, and then took out the porcelain bottle containing the zombie pill. Acupoints are used to control movement, and Yamen acupoints are used to control sounds. Therefore, Xiao Zuhai, who was unable to move or speak, immediately showed a look of fear in his eyes when he saw the familiar porcelain bottle in Zhang Fenjai's hand. Because he knew the effect of the pill in the porcelain bottle, he knew more clearly what Zhang Fenjai was going to do to him. Xiao Zuhai, think about Dong Sunhe and Zhao Ziqian who were transformed by you, think about those ordinary people who were used to feed zombies, maybe you won't be so scared in your heart. Walking in front of Xiao Zuhai, Zhang Fenjai comforted him with an indifferent look, held his breath and opened the bottle cap, and then poured a zombie pill in the porcelain bottle into Xiao Zuhai's mouth. When the zombie pill was poured into Xiao Zuhai's mouth, the look of fear was instantly replaced by despair. When the zombie pill went down his throat into his body and melted all night, the look of despair was gradually replaced by fierceness. When he saw Xiao Zuhai's black and white eyes gradually replaced by black and orange, Zhang Fenjai took out 6 evil-breaking talismans and 6 soul-suppressing talismans from his sleeves and pasted them on the 4 walls, roof, and ground of the basement respectively. Afterwards, he took out the corpse-suppressing bell and stared at Xiao Zuhai, waiting for him to complete the transformation of a zombie and extract the soul blood in his sea of consciousness. As the color of Dong Zuhai's eyes changed, his hands, which were placed on the armrests of the chair, gradually turned black and orange, and his fingernails grew longer rapidly. At the same time, the skin on his face gradually turned black and orange, and the teeth on both sides of his mouth began to grow sharper and longer. The Best Physiognomist. Author, Yan Yun Yuqi. Chapter 520. In the basement of the Shen family villa. Bang. As the changes in his body continued to deepen, the acupoints and the mute gate acupoints that were originally sealed with strength were forcibly opened by the medicine that transformed his body, and Xiao Zuhai slowly stood up. Then, his eyes, which were black and orange, stared at Zhang Fengjai, and he kept making low roars. Looking at Xiao Zuhai's transformed state, which was between black and orange zombies, Zhang Fengjai knew that he could not directly transform into an orange zombie-level zombie with only the zombie pill and the third level of foundation building. After shaking his head slightly disappointedly, he flashed in front of Xiao Zuhai, and then stretched out his finger to point at his forehead. But at this moment, Xiao Zuhai suddenly raised his two arms, and the sharp nails pierced his neck directly. In response, Zhang Fengjai stretched out his left hand without any panic or surprise, and after quickly slapping his arms open like a gust of wind, his right hand fingers suddenly accelerated and took out a drop of blood emitting strong corpse gas and yinsha aura from the center of Xiao Zuhai's eyebrows. Then, he took a few steps back and directly merged the soul blood into the corpse-suppressing bell in his hand. Then, he shook the small and exquisite bell in his hand. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Accompanied by a pleasant sound, Xiao Zuhai raised his arms again, and when he was about to jump and continue to chase Zhang Fengjai, his body suddenly stopped, and then his arms slowly dropped, and his eyes slowly closed. Immediately, he took out a soul-suppressing talisman from his sleeve and stuck it on Xiao Zuhai's forehead. Zhang Fengjai mobilized the gray energy of his dantian to take out the sword, and then dug a deep pit about 2 meters long, 1 meter wide, and 80 centimeters deep in the basement. After dispersing the sharp sword condensed by the gray energy, he laid Xiao Zuhai flat in the dug deep pit, and then returned to Shen Loxi's bedroom. Then, he took out 24 blank talisman papers and a spirit bead that he had just harvested from the 4 spirits soul gathering formation, and returned to the basement. Next, he used the gray energy of dantian to draw 24 traction talismans, buried them on all sides of the deep pit, and then put the spirit bead in Xiao Zuhai's mouth and filled the deep pit again. Hu. After doing all this, Zhang Fengjai looked at the ground where Xiao Zuhai was buried, took a deep breath and slowly exhaled. Xiao Zuhai, who was between the black zombie and the orange zombie, was in the process of promotion, and his temperament was at its most brutal. The corpse-suppressing bell and the soul-suppressing talisman could not control him for too long. If he wanted to stabilize his temperament again, he had to let him successfully break through the level and promote to the orange zombie. Although using the blood of living beings is the fastest and best way to upgrade the zombie level, if he really dares to do so, not to mention that his conscience will be condemned and affect his practice, I am afraid that the 3 grandfathers will never let him off easily after knowing it. Therefore, he can only use the traction talisman to gather the surrounding yinsha qi, so that Xiao Zuhai can upgrade to orange zombie by attracting yinsha energy. Although the promotion speed of this method will be very slow, it may take 2 or 3 months to upgrade to the level of orange zombie, but without the influence of the sin and karma, Xiao Zuhai's potential and hope to impact a higher level in the future are endless. If he can recondense a new consciousness, then Xiao Zuhai will become the strongest helper around him. After tidying up the mud on his body, Zhang Fengjai turned around and left the basement and returned to the villa guest room, then reached out and embraced Zhuang Jian, who was standing in front of the window sill, and comforted her softly. "Sister Yan, don't worry. I will help you deal with the other 2 disciples of Lishan sect and make sure they won't hurt you. Yezi, I believe in you." After nodding to indicate that she believed in his ability, Zhuang Jian leaned her head on his shoulder and said with a slightly lonely look. Yezi, Zhao Ziqian, the person in charge of Lanja City, is one of my few friends and besties in the Supernatural Research Institute, just like Yan Zi, who is responsible for intelligence collection in Dongshan Province. Originally, we agreed with each other that whoever gets married first will have the other two be her bridesmaids. Whoever has a child first will have the other two be the godmothers of the child. Now, Ziqian. Thinking of Zhao Ziqian, who was turned into a zombie by the disciples of Lishan sect, Zhuang Jian burst into tears. Sister Yan, don't worry. I will avenge Sister Ziqian, Zhang Fengjai promised solemnly after reaching out to wipe the tears from the corners of Zhuang Jian's eyes. In fact, if we calculate according to the time when Zhao Ziqian got into trouble, she has been transformed into a zombie for less than 7 days. Then, with the help of corpse-dissolving pills and silver needles to expel poison, there is still a glimmer of hope to restore her original appearance. However, before he really understood Zhao Ziqian's condition, he didn't want to give Zhuang Jian any hope, so as to avoid her being more disappointed and sad after the failure of the final rescue process. Yezi, you should be more careful. Knowing that his cultivation level was too low, if he went together, he would not only be unable to help, but might even drag Zhang Fengjai down. Therefore, Zhuang Jian advised very sensibly. I know. After nodding, Zhang Fengjai got up and left the villa through the window, and then took a taxi directly to King Xinjia Tea House. King Xinjia Tea House, in the room on the top floor. The business suit was torn, with a few traces of blood at the corners of her mouth. The pretty girl with disheveled hair huddled in the corner of the room with her hands on her knees, staring blankly at the handsome young man sitting cross-legged on a cushion in the center of the room. Because the young man in front of her and his two companions not only occupied the tea house of King Xinju, but also forcibly insulted her. At this moment, thinking of losing the innocent body that had always been reserved for the beloved man, the pretty girl's heart suddenly surged with endless sadness and despair. At this moment, thinking of the young man who took away her innocent body, she wanted to go forward and fight with him. However, when she saw the two black-clothed men standing behind the handsome young man, wearing black robes, wearing black cloaks, and exuding a gloomy atmosphere, her empty eyes were instantly replaced by fear. Because every 3.5 hours, another young man would come back with two unconscious ordinary people, and then the two black-clothed men would roar excitedly and directly suck the blood of the two ordinary people. Although until now, she has not seen the true appearance of the two black-clothed men, but the sharp nails exposed by the two black-clothed men when sucking blood made her vaguely guess that the other party is likely to be the legendary zombie. It was precisely because of the existence of these two suspected zombies that she had been suppressing the urge to fight them. She didn't want to be sucked dry by the zombies and become a shrunken corpse because of angering them.